out comes Triple H for his monumental announcement, and he mentions defending this title in this very arena at WrestleMania 22, which the man is his memory is eluding him that it was actually him challenging John Cena for the title at that WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. I mean, could have fooled me. I know we were both there, but I didn't. I don't remember this much.
That was that was Conan the Barbarian Hunter coming out, wasn't it?
Right.
With
Okay.
Do you remember who was part of John Cena's entrance?
Who? CM
CM
Punk?
Punk was one of the
Yes,
gangsters.
of course. Full
Yeah.
circle.
And maybe Cena politely told him, "Can you just leave the arena now?
Mm.
We got a show to do." So he's here to discuss Roman Reigns approaching 1,000 days as champion. And Roman negotiated himself into a position where he doesn't have to defend the title as frequently. And it has taken us 1,000 days to realize that this is not enough title defenses. The fans need more. So when Roman Reigns is drafted, he will take the undisputed WWE Universal Championship to that brand and stay there. The other brand will determine a new champion, the disputed World Heavyweight Champion, which will be crowned May 27th at Night of Champions. And he reveals this belt and says, this title, the winner will not demand your acknowledgement, but they will earn it. So we are going to have our split championships. Why did Roman Reigns win at WrestleMania? Why are we adding this title? Why are we diluting a championship that we put 3 years into the monumental loss that this thing has been built up for to create this?
Well, first of all, there is no such thing as an undisputed championship anymore. The very existence of the other one just, constitutes that both of them will be disputed. So
you have to get the U out.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
One of the U's. They can keep Universal.
These are all great questions, John, that you brought up.
I don't like this idea at all. I don't like this idea at all.
I think we got to look at maybe like the pros and cons, just to kind of not even defending, one decision or the other, but just to kind of think of maybe like what the thought process was of going this route. Okay. So I guess the pros of like introducing a new championship are that and having Roman, I guess not even having to lose in order to introduce it is that I guess you don't have Roman Reigns have to take a loss. Obviously, there's more merchandising opportunities. What do you think of the way it looks, by the way? In the style of the big gold belt, of course.
I like that it looks. I knew they'd want to plaster that logo on the front of it. I like that it looks different than the typical WWE championships that they've been using with just that giant W with a blue or a red behind it.
It seems to be like like if the current WWE championship and the big gold belt had a baby, it would be like this. Yeah. Anyway, this is going to sell a whole lot, and I guess maybe their belt belt selling division. Maybe.
Well, to that, I would argue that when Roman hits 1,000 days, they present him with this championship, and then you can sell all of these titles. Listen, if we were looking at house shows that were just struggling because there's no world champion on the road, if we were seeing numbers that were just depleted because Roman is only around so often, we've seen the total opposite of that. And in its place, we have for a year now had these titles together where they have in this generation, I don't think the title has ever felt more important. And you know that from the examples of Drew McIntyre, of Sami Zayn, of Cody Rhodes, that man, when this guy loses that title, it's going to be such a memorable moment. Mm-hmm. And if you were so dead set on this direction, it's only the latest evidence to have done that title switch 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
Let Cody be the one to state, I am not going to hold on to both of these. He can be the one to give up one, keep the other, which I don't even like that. I like the one consolidated title, but at least if you're going this way, to me, it cheapens when Roman is now we have the 1B guy. And I think whoever wins this title, to me, feels like such an inferior champion. I would hate for Cody to win this version.
I think you're always going to have that though. Like when they did it in 02, 03, like with Hunter actually getting the World Heavyweight Championship just granted to him. You start off like recognizing Hunter as like sort of the illegitimate
Remember
champion.
When the draft started and he was the undisputed champion and he was the guy that could go back and forth as that one singular champion, and then they split them.
Yeah, when Brock moved, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like start, and then even when they introduce what is it, the Universal Championship, like to
That
start,
was the second draft. They
yeah,
created that title.
to start, I think you'll always have like maybe that worry that, oh, this one championship is going to feel inferior. I think largely audiences get over that, especially if it's like a hot program. It's not going to be maybe as regarded, like highly regarded as this Roman Reigns championship at this point, because Roman is just like maybe so up there. But I think audiences will like accept, this as like a world title level
They will accept
thing.
it way, but to me, it's like you're okay. When Roman loses his belt, it's like you're gonna have this belt that you've built up to here, and we're gonna have this new title. And all what's gonna happen is that in a year from now, this is how we're gonna view both titles.
Yeah,
They're
for
just gonna be
people
at this
people that
level.
are just listening, John is basically suggesting
I'm
that
saying
the
you have two titles that mean less than one singular but
totally
big
agreed.
title.
Agreed, it waters it down completely, and that's one of probably the biggest con, this second title feels secondary, and maybe the biggest heartbreak for me is the knowledge that neither Zayn nor Cody could have taken one of these other championships at the time. Like, they could have done a disputed finish at either Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania that somehow split the championships then, if your idea was to have 2 traveling championships anyway. Instead, they chose to do this, so, um,
Like
those are
literally, don't
questions.
you need now if Roman is one champion, like
Mhm.
don't you have to merge his belts to create a new title? Like what? Why
Yeah.
would he be holding two separate belts now?
Well, maybe he'll just drop the universal. That's even just a kind of an aside. Like, they're not just doing this for merchandising opportunities. I think it's probably more to do with like the networks, maybe wanting, specific champions, maybe wanting more championship matches on their television products. Um, but
Or like what was flat out stated is like having two champions on each show
Mhm.
that would qualify as a big picture idea. So you have to throw that
Well,
option in
that's
there
what they're
as well.
doing.
Well,
Roman's not going to be changing brands.
sorry, would he? He'll be on one brand.
He'll be on one brand. Yeah.
Yes. I'm just saying, like a big picture idea, that is something that like Vince had stated. Like he would be in
Right.
charge of like the big picture ideas. And there could
Okay.
very well be like your collision of ideas here where this is something where if this is mandated, then
Mhm.
you have to work this in because this
Right.
to me goes counter to your 3-year story of Roman Reigns to just create this new championship that to me just lessens the value of everything involved.
I agree. I agree. Um,
Like there's a time you can do
I
this,
I
but
I don't think it's so detrimental to the Roman Reigns, like, championship run, though. Like, at this point, the run is almost like the undefeated length and the duration of his run is almost bigger than, like, the championship itself, John? So,
does it lessen Cody if Cody wins this title first?
it's not as big as if Cody won the undisputed one at WrestleMania, yes. But
Like
again.
this tournament or however they decided, like it's all going to be past challengers that have
Right,
lost to Roman. Like you pretty much
right.
have the whole roster here that has fallen to Roman,
Yeah.
and that's what this feels like. It feels like the consolation belt.
Well, there's no denying that, like, yeah, Cody would have been a bigger deal, or Sammy would have been a bigger deal, or Seth Rollins would have been a bigger deal had they won Roman's championship. But again, we don't know necessarily the reasons for this happening. If it's to again facilitate 2 championship brands for the benefit of the network or whatever. Does this get you there better than just having one champion?
I'm just looking like that's a fine theory. Like you have a
Mhm.
champion on both shows, but we have seen the opposite that both shows are doing numbers that like they are up. They are up year over
Yeah.
year. Like both shows are benefiting from the like we're seeing the evidence here. And it's like it's not some wild theory. It's not just my personal preference that I like one champion. It's the numbers suggest like this
Yeah.
has worked.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, with all those points. The caveat though is that like Roman has been really like I would say a special champion. Could they strike that same magic like if it was another champion? And also like I think all of this tells me that they're actually very serious about this brand split once it happens. And that's at least to start. Cuz I don't know if you're going to like they want to be able to tell singular stories on one show rather than having, let's say, Cody wins the championship and can you necessarily tell both of those stories without guys jumping across both shows? It at least gives me a little bit of optimism that they're, sticking to this brand split. But maybe that's reason to be pessimistic because arguably the shows are better without a brand split.
Uh, I have yet to hear a compelling argument why Cody could not have won this 3
No,
weeks ago.
absolutely. Or
To me,
well,
that
yeah,
solves a lot of
it's weird.
the questions. Well, coming up this week, you are going to get Braden Harrington and Davey Portman Tuesday night, 10:15 Eastern on this very channel after spring break-in. They're going to be having the spring break-in after party. So check that out Tuesday night. Wednesday, we're here for Dynamite, and Thursday, Way and I, we're going to do the only thing we know how to do, talk. It is coming up this Thursday. We're going to cover life, AI, Twitter, Elon, health, smoothies. We're coming at you hard.
Smoothies, especially.
Yeah, this is going to be a smoothie listen. Okay,
I
Thursday
like
for cafe members.
There's a sentence I said on the show that I didn't think I'd ever broadcast.
I don't even know what this line was.
It's just tune in and find out. This
I'm going to tune in and find out now. Yes. All that and more. Plus, we will be live Friday night at 10 Eastern after the draft. So 10 Eastern. Rampage is on at 5:30 on Friday. So TBD if we will have time to watch Rampage, but we will definitely have a thorough SmackDown review and night one of the draft.